What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And it has been a while since the last Kaspa update. As a matter of fact, I've got to update you on everything that's going on because I've had a seriously crazy busy couple of weeks since I started posting the quick videos without the super fancy editing. But we're going to just start out. I had to get this one done using the desktop so we can look at the chart. As you'll notice, I got a green screen now because my XSplit software is malfunctioning and does not pull in my Crypto Pro background, and that really makes me mad. Very, very angry. I had just upgraded the cost for a yearly subscription, and now it's not working. Well, we'll just have to deal with the green. So starting out, we're going to look at the 4-hour chart, and then we'll look at the 1-day chart and the 1 week because it's kind of conflicting a little bit. Where starting out with on this 4-hour chart, it was looking bullish, and then as soon as I started the video, it's turned bearish, and I'll tell you why. And you can't predict these things. I'm not telling you that all this is going to happen exactly like how I present it, okay? Because like I always tell you, this is definitely not financial advice, okay? I'm not going to flash up the big red warning because I'm not doing any editing on this video, but you know the drill. I'm just helping you to give you an idea, and we're just talking and discussing this, okay? I'm not trying to make a name for myself for having a crystal ball. Now, what I'm talking about was before I started the video, look right here. Do you see this? Now, let's get an arrow. Do you notice how the little blue line right here was curling up and about to cross over the orange on the stochastic? The blue is the fast, the orange is the slow. And then notice what happened right when it touched the orange line. You see it unfurled and fell back down. Okay, so what I was thinking was that before it glanced and then unconnected and started going south, it looked like we were going to start moving the pairs this way, which would have indicated a breakout here and a confirmation of this seemingly apparent bullish pennant. And you can look at this as a bullish pennant, but then again, sometimes people will say that these types of pennants can break to the downside. One thing that's definitely going to happen that I will tell you has a high probability is that we're going to come out of this pennant one way or the other. You're going to have a hard breakdown or a hard break up. Once we get to the point, you see how price is coiling up? You're going to come out of that with a strong move one way or the other. It's probably going to happen. So I would say maybe a 75% chance that there is a strong move that occurs. Now, you'll also notice that you got the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA coming together, where it looks like right here, the orange, which is the 50 EMA, was coming up to cross over the 200. But now notice how it's kind of laying flat now. It looks like it might be at a peak and might continue south again. All right, so there's no guarantee that we would have had this somewhat bullish crossover on the micro. This is a bearish crossover when the 50 goes below the 200. And you can see that it ended up where we had this low point right here. And then it starts to pull up. And then when it's pulling up, price is coming up. Actually, it's the price that's pulling up the EMA because that's just the average price over the last 50 candles. The blue line is just the average price over the last 200 candles. If this stochastic continues to go down, then we're going to find out if we will hold or break this 200 EMA. So here's what I'm going to look for. If this stochastic dips down here and we don't hold this blue line, then we're going to go back to this zone down here. And we'll see what zone that is on the next chart. Let's see if we can scrunch it up here and see which one it is, because I've got this zoomed in so you can see where we are. All right, so that is my top zone, support and resistance zone. I'm going to have to make another one because we have a lot of bouncing around up here. So we're going to have another zone pretty soon once I analyze that and break it down. All right, so if we fall out of this and violate the 200, notice that there is a great big node right there. That is the support for the top of this zone. So in other words, if it falls down, it could go boing and it could bounce right there at the top of that zone. If it doesn't, then look for support at this ascending red line. Okay, that's another inflection point possibility. If it fails that, further correction coming. All right, so that's the 4 hour. And I'm thinking right now it's 50-50. Maybe 60% that it's going to slightly go down, 40% that it's going to go up from here. I'm thinking we're at least going to touch on that blue line, on the 200 EMA, highest probability. And then after that, it's a 50-50. Does it break below it or does it go above it? Let's go to the 1-day chart. On the 1 day, looking at the stochastic cycles, this is why this gets so confusing, because on the 1 day chart, you see this crossover here. See this? This is what you call a peak of a little cycle. So the fast line has crossed over the slow line. Why? Because price is pulling it down. So you're going to have a cycle down. Now, does it come all the way down here to oversold? We don't know. Sometimes it will cross over, fake out, go back up, and then go down. See this double hump? That's a double hump camel there. But overall, it cycled all the way down. And then we had a crossover up. Well, guess what? Fake out, crossed over down, and then came up. So don't think that this crossover means that we're absolutely going to complete the cycle down. It could bounce around. All right? But when you combine this crossover with the unfurling on the 4 hour, well, it makes me think that this crossover is a serious one. And here's what it could mean. It could mean that we could go and find the 50 EMA on the 1 day chart, the last 51 day candles. That's what this average line is made of. We could fall down, and then we're going to wait and see. If we get all the way down here, we're going to see what the corresponding price is. Now, as I always tell you, I teach you, look at the peaks and look at the bottoms, and then see what's going on in the price upstairs to know what the trend is doing. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's clear this out real quick and scrunch this down so we can see what kind of craziness I'm talking about. Now, here's all the action since the 6th of July. And here's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. At the bottom of the stochastic cycle, we return a price upstairs right there. And then we get into the top of the cycle here and another top here because it wanted to jump back up and get another taste. Well, let's see what we got upstairs. It returned this higher price. Okay. In fact, we had a double surge there. And then this one gave an even higher high. We got to the all-time high. All right. Moving right along. Once we get back down to oversold, all right, it returned a price right here. There was that dip. Okay. And then we come up, but notice how this peak, which didn't make it to the overbought zone, it just brought us back down to right here, and then we go back down to the bottom. So here's a bottom where it stayed in the bottom and crawled along, and we got this side banding right there, okay? So there's our return, but it's a higher low, so the trend is still intact. And then you'll see that on the next stochastic peak, what happened upstairs? We pushed up and got a higher than the last low. We did a double hump camel, pushed up again, and got an all-time high. Now, possible trend reversal. Why? Because you have a stochastic high that did not make it to the overbought zone up here. What was the price that was returned? Well, it was a lower high, double hump camel, confirmation, second lower high. But then you'll notice at the next low point with the double low, we did still do pretty good on the price because it came up here and made a higher low than what we had back there. Do you see that? Okay? So there's some mixed signals. According to the peak of your prices, we see descending peaks. So let's count them. Let's put on the numbers and count. Here's number 1. There's all-time high. Number 2, slightly lower high. Number 3, slightly lower high. And number 4 on this crossover, well, that is a lower high. Okay? But on the bottoms. Let's look at the bottoms and let's count those. So on these bottoms, we've got, there's your low, higher low. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Get that out of there. Let's start over. So there's, let's completely get rid of that circle. Undo. Let's start this over. Okay, so here we go. Here's the low, number one. And then at the next dip, here's a low here. There's a higher low. Then at the next serious dip, which is here, we do have a lower low. So there you go. So you can tip your hat in the favor of, we're probably going to finish a little bit of a correction, but the overall direction of Kaspa is up. So best case scenario for those wishing to jump one that have missed thus far, maybe we come down here to the top of this support resistance zone number one before we continue upwards like that, okay? Maybe we fail that zone and come down to the red ascending support line. But if we fail that, then we'll look to further support resistance zones, which I'm thinking the worst case scenario is right here, just below 3 cents. And after that, it would probably launch off. But that's of your least probability. Your highest probability, let's put some numbers on here. Highest probability is bouncing off of the EMA. Whoops. Start the numbers over. Highest probability is bouncing off of the 50 EMA. The next high probability, next higher, how would I say that? Next in the line of probability or less probability is coming down to the top of the zone and bouncing off here. And the least likely scenario is coming all the way down here to zone 3. So that's it. So let's clear that out. And I'm going to look at the 1 week chart. This is the big picture. And let's talk about this for a second and then we're done. So notice how we came up all-time high. We come down. Here's the bottom. And that's the depth of the correction. All the way down here at 0.015. And then here's a peak, all-time high. We come down and we go for another double peak. There it is. We matched or broke the all-time high at 0.051 or 2. Now we got a crossover. Do we come all the way back down here or are we going to stay up here? That is the question. If we get a full cycle down, we're going to break this ascending zone and we will be into bearish trading channel zone. But if we don't break this channel, here's the channel. Let me tell you where it is. This is the channel. We're in a bullish trend. Are we going to stay in this all the way until the real bull run for Bitcoin? I don't know. Here's our two possibilities. We'll either continue to bounce in this forever and stay in this uptrend, or we violate this, find a base. We have, like, say, a bearish trending trading channel where you'll have two parallel lines like this. And then when the bull market hits for Bitcoin, then we would all of a sudden, let's change the color, then you would have another swing channel change of direction like that. And then all of a sudden price is bouncing in this channel again while we go to the moon. So there you have it. That's how you call it. And so really, for me, I might pick up a little bit more. I mean, I've got enough. I have 101,000. I gave 1,000 to my son. I bought in at 0.004. I'm up 10x already, above 10x, so I'm not being greedy. I'm just going to sit on it and wait till the bull market peak. I would probably say that I'll probably sell out between $1 or $2 and then hold half of it if it hits, 3 or 4. And then after the bull market peaks, sell it off, start the same thing again once we get to the bottom. And nobody really knows where it's going to go, but we'll just have to see. Okay, so that's all I've got for right now with this particular update. Hopefully this makes good sense to you, and I want you to post your comments below and let me know if you think we're going to have a bearish trading channel before the real run, or are we just going to stay on this and keep on going up? That's what I want to know, but I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Pro channel. And if you would like to be like some of the fantastic folks who support me. You can do so with the giving of a super thanks, and I thank you in advance. So that is all we have for now. And since I'm not editing this video, I'm gonna have to kick on out of here with the snap of a finger.